one of the reasons I love playing decks like this is people, generally speaking, and this is one of the reasons why KCI is as good as it is right now too. These linear combo decks that are working on kind of a different axis than people are used to playing against get a lot of percentage points from people just like messing up against them. I prefer online or paper Magic tournaments from a game perspective. I would 100% prefer to play Magic the Gathering online. Playing in paper is a hot mess. That's really clunky. This matchup is very bad for us. This is arguably our worst matchup with this deck. Eidolon of the Great Revel is not a card we can combo through, and they have a fast clock that does not give us enough time to dirtle around. Alright, that being said, our hand is pretty okay here. If we can find an Ascendancy, we'll be in a pretty good spot. Oh, would you look at that? There's a piece of candy on top of my deck, chat. I go top here. If they don't have an Eidolon here, there's a good chance we kill them on 3. If they do have an Eidolon, you know, we'll see where things go. But if they don't have an Eidolon on 2 or 3, there's a good chance they die on our turn 3 here. So for those of you that are new to this deck or haven't seen it played before, the basic principle of how you combo with this deck is you put a mana creature like Sylvan Caryatid or Birds of Paradise or Fatestitcher into play, and then using Jeskai Ascendancy, we cast a bunch of spells and kind of loop through our deck, making our creature large, and then eventually we either attack or use Flesh Blood out of our sideboard to kill our opponent with it. We just need to dodge Eidolon for one more turn here. And this is one of the reasons why I love this style of deck, because even though this matchup is hard, and I would describe it as this deck's hardest matchup, sometimes they stumble a little bit, and our deck has a strong proactive game plan. It can just kill them. Are you favoring Sylvan Caryatid over Noble Hierarch? Well, the deck list is on your screen. There have always been 4 Sylvan Caryatids in this deck, Maester. Sylvan Caryatid is the best creature in this deck. Having a mana creature that your opponent can't target with removal that is targeted is very, very good. This Sylvan Caryatid is also actually pretty good in this matchup because it blocks Goblin Guide. I think Green-Black Elves is much, much better than Green-White Elves for the reasons that you listed. Alright. Please play a bunch of burn spells. Please play a bunch of burn spells. Don't Eidolon me. Don't Eidolon me. That's part of it, Blanco, but definitely, like, having a proactive game plan to kill them, too, is very important as well. So they get to see the Ascendancy on top of my deck here. I do have to fetch shock here. I have my only basic in play, so I do have to fetch shock. So I am dealing 3 to myself next turn, and we're not guaranteed to win here. Remember, our combo is not deterministic until a point very deep into it, so we could brick and die. Please read Flesh Blood tech line. With Opt and Abundant Growth, we should be in a pretty good spot, though. Should be in a pretty good spot. So, hopefully we're about to win the game. So this will be white, this will be blue, this will be red. And then we'll go ahead and start by putting Abundant Growth on the Gemstone Mine. Abundant Growth on Gemstone Mine lets the Gemstone Mine tap for mana of any color without losing a counter, which is nice. So the first thing we're really looking for here is a copy of the card Fatestitcher, because Fatestitcher allows us to start generating extra mana with every spell that we cast. In lieu of a Fatestitcher, we're really looking for a 1-mana non-creature spell so we can continue looting through our deck and comboing. It looks like we might brick off here. Get 2 shots at a 1-mana spell. Alright, get to keep going. This gives us 3 shots at a 1-mana spell. Really looking for Cerulean Wisps would be an absurd draw for us, because it would allow us to generate enough mana to cast a Manamorphose. And I bricked and died. So that's gonna happen sometimes. Not non-zero chance we're not dead this turn, but probably dead. Oh, could I have cast the Abundant Growth on the Ascendancy to avoid life loss? You're right, I could have. I could be 3 higher right now. That's actually a great point. Thank you for pointing that out. I could be at 8 right now. So what I could have done is, what they pointed out is, I could have cast Ascendancy off of Caryatid, Gemstone Mine. No, that doesn't work. No, Bogles right, I'm dumb. Because I wouldn't have a land to cast. No, yeah, Bogles right, I'm dumb. Am I dead? Am I untapping? We did it! We did it! We did it! Hooray! I guess I should have cast this Birds of Paradise last turn. No, then I would have had to jump block. Woo! 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 Lordy, lordy! I was not prepared to untap there, chat. That was not something I was ready for. Oh, birds allowed them to Searing Blades. That's a good point. Alright, we should, hopefully, fingers crossed, see enough cards at this point that they're dead. Alright, double Glittering Wish. Let's start with a, let's play another Manamorphose here. Alright, second Ascendancy is exactly what we want. So, when you're playing this deck, the thing you want to be figuring out every game is, what is your bottleneck? Is your bottleneck, do you not have enough mana or do you not have enough cards? So, last turn when we failed to go off, I didn't have enough mana to go off even though I had cards in my hand. With this second Ascendancy here, every 2 mana spell I cast makes 2 mana, so they're free because it untaps my creature twice. And every 1 mana spell I cast nets me a mana because it untaps my creature twice. So now we're just going to go ahead and loot right on through here. This first Glittering Wish is going to get a copy of Scarscale Ritual. And we'll go ahead and Scarscale Ritual. Put a minus counter there. And at some point I'm going to hit a Fatestitcher, which will make comboing through even easier. And we just keep sitting here, growing the Sylvan Caryatid, and eventually the Sylvan Caryatid here is going to... I'm actually not going to loot at this point because my entire hand is cards that I want. So I keep just casting spells, and then this Glittering Wish is going to get a copy of Fleshblood out of my sideboard. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and get the copy of Fleshblood now, just in case my opponent's willing to concede to it. And at this point in paper, this deck's actually easier to play in paper than online in some aspects, because at this point in paper, I would flip my hand over and go, I have enough spells to make the Sylvan Caryatid huge. I'm going to get Fleshblood and kill you with it, but I'm going to, like, draw a bunch of cards before that happens. So, like, they could concede because they know that they're going to die. Because I don't need a Fatestitcher to win at this point. So, like, looting is just needless game actions. The only reason I'm still casting spells is because I need to power this up. It does take a lot to click through online. You are not wrong. So this is actually something I am going to loot here because I want to show them the Fatestitcher. Because a lot of people board in Graveyard hate against us when they see Fatestitcher, which Graveyard Hate actually isn't very good against us. So if they want to bring in Graveyard Hate, that's a-okay with me. So this is going to put my Sylvan Caryatid up to a 16-16. This is going to put my Sylvan Caryatid up to a 16-16. And then Flesh Blood will make it... sorry, I have to cast 2 more spells. So I have to cast a Cerulean Wisps after this one. So Cerulean Wisps will crank this bad little plant here up to an 18 power, and then Flesh Blood triggers will crank it up to a lethal amount. And I could be making extra mana here, but whatever. It's blood, right? Blood is the half I want to cast. Target creature, yeah, blood. So cast blood. This guy deals damage to here. So this is just a good clean 20 ball. Just boop you on the nose. Boop you on the nose. Just boop it. Boop it. Boop it. Alright, so this matchup is abysmal. And we don't have time to dirtle around in this matchup like we do in a lot of other matchups. So this is one of the few matchups where I board out almost all of the copies of Glittering Wish and I overboard basically. You generally speaking should never be boarding more than 6 cards or so with this deck, but in this matchup specifically, we board more than that because you don't have time to dirtle and cantrip around. You don't have time. You need to just have your cards that interact with their Eidolons. I'm leaving 1 Glittering Wish here because this Glittering Wish can be Scarscale Ritual. Maybe I should leave 2. Actually, I'll leave 2 in. So this Glittering Wish is not going to get Jeskai Ascendancy. I'm boarding in the extra Jeskai Ascendancy, but this can kill Eidolon still with Wear Tear, and it can get Scarscale Ritual or Flesh Blood mid-combo. I think EE is too slow. I also think, like, that dilutes a little bit too much. I think 8 interactive cards, like, even 8's a lot. This is the asterisk to my rule. This is basically the only matchup where I do this. Ooh, we have 9 new deck submissions already. I haven't actually announced that today, but it's in the stream title. So as of this morning, we were under 50 decks in the queue, so I'm opening the donation queue back up for the normal $10 donation to add a deck for people that are subscribed to the channel. So there's a deck submission form link below the stream, or bit.ly/Hugel submit to send me your wonderful deck ideas to get them up here on the stream. This stream is viewer-driven content, viewer-focused content. The people that support my stuff dictate what we play and how soon we play it. Sounds good, Steam Flogger. Yeah, we basically want an Ascendancy or a Leyline in our opener. So this is a good example of a hand that I would keep against an unknown opponent, but it is not good enough in this matchup. They're just going to be too brutal and kill us. We need Leyline. Ooh, this hand is absurd. We're gonna bottom that one. This hand's pretty good, chat. This hand's pretty good. I'm planning to go through all of the ones that have been submitted yesterday and today and send emails out tonight for people that have submitted stuff yesterday. This has Leyline. This has a Mana Dork in it. This has Jeskai Ascendancy. Just like everything we could want. If you're that's a good draw too. If you're interested in learning more about this deck, be sure to check out my full primer about it on gatheringmagic.com. There's also countless videos at this point on my YouTube channel. We played this deck a lot. It's a lot of fun. This was my second choice for Indie, although I'm pretty sure I'm playing Counterburn. just because I want to tempo people. Eidolon, bro. How did Spirits perform? It was a little bit clunky tracks. You should read my primer. My primer has lots of various budget iterations of this deck that include no Noble Hierarchs, that include no fetch lands, lots of good budget suggestions in my article. That sounds really kind of clunky and awkward, Erdogan. Didn't really have a third choice lined up. Destructive Revelry, and they're killing my Ascendancy. That's a tilt. Ascendancy was likely going to loot us through to finding an answer to this Eidolon. There's a deck list on your screen. If you're on mobile, you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. You have like 2 shots here to find a way to kill this. No, this has to be like exactly Path to Exile. Even exactly Path isn't good enough, right? Because they're just gonna kill us. And again, I know we stole game 1, but this matchup is very bad. That was a great example. We had a great hand, and they just kind of picked us apart with that Destructive Revelry. Streaming on Twitch is exactly like being a parent or a teacher. You have to speak very slowly and repeat yourself very often. This just isn't good enough. No mana creature, no Ascendancy. I'm gonna keep this with the land on top deal. So I do have to deal 4 damage to myself with my lands here, but I do get to go fetch dual land, fetch island, cast Sylvan Caryatid on 2, cast Ascendancy on 3. So while this hand's not amazing, I think it's definitely a keep on 5. I certainly make more streaming on Twitch than I did teaching. It's not particularly close. We do not pay teachers a whole lot in this country. It's a low bar to meander over, especially adjunct teachers. Like when I was teaching, I was just adjuncting at various colleges. Adjuncts get paid worse than most. I've got a lot of relevant work experience, Orcish Veteran. You're not wrong. Alright, so we're going to have to take 4 here. I was kind of hoping they'd play Goblin Guide, because if they played Goblin Guide, I'd get that land off the top of my deck and have gotten to fetch a Temple Garden tapped. Would have been ideal, but it is what it is. I learned more English from you, Jeff, than from my university. That's funny. I didn't get a tap duel on turn 1 because I scryed a second land to the top of my deck, and I wanted to guaranteed draw my second land. Alright, if we draw an untapped land here, there's a small probability we could kill them, but it's not very high. Alright, there is no land coming. I think I just play Sylvan Caryatid here and pass back. Because if they had an Eidolon, they would have jammed Eidolon there. Sylvan Caryatid playing defense here is so great. Well, live and learn. So I get a couple shots at a way to interact with this. So, assuming they have no burn spell, assuming they don't have a lightning bolt here, I get to cast 2 more spells. Yeah, you're welcome to share arena keys in chat. Just do it through whispers, please. So we need Abrupt Decay or a path on this draw or our next 2. So we get two more draws here before we're dead. So I get the draw off this Ascendancy loot. Needs to be Abrupt Decay or Path to Exile. And then now it has to be off of this. I guess that technically gives me another look, huh? Because this is a spell I can cast. That, Alright, Abrupt Decay or Path, please. Tilt. Yeah, I guess if they don't have a way to give this prowess, I can technically get one more draw here, right? That line's much too slow against the cards they're likely to have in their hand. I need to try and kill them this turn. And, like, we're through a quarter of my deck, and I boarded in 4 answers to Eidolon. So, like, you know, I didn't have one of my 4 answers in the top 15 cards of my deck, and that's how Magic goes sometimes. And, like, remember, this is a game where we mulliganed to 5, and, like, we had a pretty good chance of being fine and not minting it. Yeah, they can bolt or Skullcrack themselves to trigger prowess. So, there it is. There it is. So, if they can trigger prowess on this, we are dead. Because that puts me to 2, and then I can't cast the Abrupt Decay. Very, very close game. Yeah, so we go to 2 now, which means the Eidolon kills us. Very, very close game. All right, while we're waiting for the second match to pop, I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. My name is Jeff Hogan. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without all of them. If you're one of the main people in the world who has Amazon Prime, if you link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, you get Twitch Prime included with that for free, and they get you a free channel subscription to a channel of your choice every single month here on Twitch. Past that, you can support my stuff by supporting some of my wonderful sponsors. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn some of your cards into other cards or cash directly with other players. There's no haggling. They just take 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, this stream wouldn't be possible without viewers like Anoronics, Justin Nivick, and all y'all out there. If you are enjoying this stuff, make sure you hit the follow button at the very least. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything. It'll let you know when I go live and with what. I could have tried to do it on their turn, but since I boarded out the ops, a lot of my spells are sorcery speed. In fact, a lot of my instant speed spells that were in my deck still were cards that killed the Eidolon, so I'm better off just looting through on my turn to try and find a way to kill them that turn. Also, if I let my opponent untap, it gives them the opportunity to draw Destructive Revelry. I also only had the Leyline of Sanctity in my hand because I was aggressively looting on my turns. Like, I wouldn't have had the Leyline in play either, and then I would have been dead to basically anything. Now, probably not ever play Battlegrounds again. Even if Opt was in my deck, I think it still just doesn't really make sense to not go for it there. Especially without the Leyline in play. While Basic Island is not the ideal land to pick up as our second land, it's still pretty okay. This matchup's probably pretty reasonable for us. Their absolute nut draw is pretty slow compared to ours. This Engineered Explosives could also potentially be very good. Although I guess they have a lot of 2s, so there's a chance this Explosives is going to kill my Caryatid too. That's a picture of Kool-Aid for the cult. Justin gets an emote. We just died to burn, Maddie. That's another reason I like the Tempo deck. The Tempo deck's got a pretty good burn matchup. I really generally dislike playing decks that die to burn. Ooh. Ooh. So I do need another land, worth noting, because these lands don't cast Jeskai Ascendancy currently, because both of these make blue mana. Come on. Ding. So, next turn we can start doing our thing. Nice, Digital Drummer. Sparring Construct. Yep. Yeah, WotC doesn't want people playing Modern. WotC wants you to play Standard and to draft. I'm going to start by casting this. And this is why Engineered Explosives is very sweet in this deck, because it is a card that nets us mana. It is a card that costs us 0 but triggers Jeskai Ascendancy. Yeah, we're like very, very likely to win from this position. We've got plenty of mana, and double Nagging Thoughts in hand means that we're almost certainly not going to be choked on cards. You should watch our league yesterday with it, Zephoids. I was actually really impressed with the Hardened Scales deck after playing it yesterday. Alright, so in response to this Madness trigger, I need to untap this land. Yes, E is also a very good interactive card. So E is a card that's good while we're comboing, and it is also a card that's good as interactive against decks that might be faster than us. So we're currently bricking off a good deal with the cards that are in our hand, but we've got double Nagging Thoughts on the stack waiting to resolve, so we should be able to find some more spells here. Here's 50 bits for losing to burn. Love JAC. Please print a card that makes it more broken. Can we get a 0/1 hexproof mana dork for one? That's what this deck needs to crack in half. It needs another hexproof mana dork. You cannot always yes Fatestitcher. That is correct. Why? Because Magic Online. Wow, we're actually bricking off a good deal here. So we got 2 shots at another hit here. Wow, alright. Remember I said we were pretty likely to go off? The deck is proving me wrong. God bless, I suppose. Yep. Good news. 2 spells on top of our deck. So should be in an okay spot to do stuff next turn. The win con here is Flesh and Blood out of the sideboard or attacking with the Fatestitcher or Noble Hierarch or Birds of Paradise. I probably should have played the bird over the Noble Hierarch, huh? Because it can fly. It actually shouldn't matter. Yeah, it's what's gonna die anyways. Am I dead? I have a Ravager? No, just a Hanger back. So we know there's 2 hits on top of our deck, which makes sense because breaking off last turn with the amount of cards we had to start required an impressive number of bricks. Here's bits, hope we get there. Here's hoping. All right, that's a Fatestitcher. All right, we should be good with the Glittering Wish at this point, but I also just said that, so we'll see. Would you prefer Maverick or 4-color Loam? I would recommend casting the card Brainstorm. That card's pretty good, I'm told. I've heard chalk on Yonder from this card called Brainstorm and Ponder. And I hear they're very good. I would recommend playing one of those. Actually drawing a pretty significant number of bricks here again. We get double loots now, though, which is nice. And I get a Scarscale Ritual, so we get to see 4 cards here. I'm not playing the Stitcher because there's a Walking Ballista. I'm waiting for an instant speed spell. I should just play this Ascendancy. Perfect. I'm going to decline lootings while I have cards in my hand, because one of the things, this deck, this build that I'm playing, does not have an infinite combo in it, because I don't think infinite combos are necessary to win the game most of the time. Except when your opponent has infinite health, and that those decks are pretty far between. So I'm going to decline these loots. All right, sweet. So now we can put the Fatestitcher into play. And then we'll play Serum Visions here in response. Tap down some blockers here. And this way, if they kill the Fatestitcher in response here... Oh, I guess they can double poke it here, right? Yeah, I'm dumb. It doesn't matter. We don't actually need the Fatestitcher to win the game. I technically needed 2 instances to save it. It's fine. It doesn't matter. That's fine. He's gone. This is good. This will be a good example of why you don't need Fatestitcher. Looking for Glittering Wish. Looking for Glittering Wish. The shovel next to your name is because you're one of the hardworking members that's building Hooglandia into the great nation that it is today. Oh, I could have popped EE. Yeah, I forgot about that. Doesn't matter. Good call on the Engineered Explosives, by the way. So... there's 3 copies of Glittering Wish in our deck still. And we definitely have enough cards to see the entirety of our deck at this point, so... 2 days later, Jeff... Look, the Engineering Explosives is really well hidden, chat. Need you to stop giving me so much crap. And I'm declining loots. Why am I declining loots? No, I should be looting. So they're just dead Glittering Wish, right? No reason not to. And I could be floating more mana here, but it really doesn't matter at this point. Yay, they're dead. Yay, we did it. We did it. Go Illini. Cardbreaker, thank you for the 4-month free subscription. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. You ever been killed by a giant Sylvan Caryatid opponent? How does my Sylvan Caryatid make you feel? That one, deal damage there. The old 28 ball, chat. Good, clean 28 ball. That's one of the longer combo times I've ever had. Usually we're not down this far in clock with this deck. What is the opponent doing? So they're going to have permanent base disruption in post board. They could have something like Damping Sphere or Eidolon. You want to bring in Abrupt Decay here. Engineered Explosives definitely seems fine. Slide out an Opt usually. I guess their deck can't really interact with my Jeskai Ascendancy, which makes this Noxious Revival less good. Yeah, a path could be fine. Sure. You just don't want to be super interactive. Like, I think on average, our linear game plan is better than their linear game plan. So, I think when our linear game plan is better, we want to err on the side of boarding less and just being more linear. Yeah, Ballista is definitely a 4 of in their deck, but like, we have lots of ways to kill Ballista, right? This is stock Jeskai Ascendancy, or stock my configuration that I've been working on for a while, alcohol. This is match 2. We lost the first match to Burn. Well, was that a good draw? Is this the mythical turn 2? Do we try and go for the turn 2 here, chat? I feel like we do. This is the turn 2. This is why Engineer Explosives is absurd. I think that actually lets us do it. There's a good chance that's gonna be good enough. Gas, gas, gas. Step on that gas. What's going on? Thanks for the bits, Demir Spy. Would love to loot. Looking for a Fatestitcher. Love to loot some new land. So, Cerulean Wisps is one of the few cards in this deck that nets us extra mana when we cast it. Because in addition to triggering the Jeskai Ascendancy, it also lets us untap the creature afterwards, which is nice. That's a Fatestitcher. Yep, let's spin that one. It's another Fatestitcher. Alright, so I unearth this. I think that puts us in the clear. I really love this turn 4 format, don't you all? They got 2 turns, and then we got 2 turns. That's what turn 4 format means, right? They get 2, we get 2. Yeah, we should be way past the bottlenecks at this point. Oh, another Nagging Thoughts. Oh, really? Just an extra copy of Nagging Thoughts. Don't mind if it does. Grab the Scarscale Ritual. Unearth this Fatestitcher. Was it good for you, opponent? I hope it was good for you. It was good for me. It was good for me. You had enough? Ding, ding, ding. I think that's the first time we've turned 2 on stream with this deck before. I am just thankful that Wizards of the Coast just kept Stoneforge Mystic banned, because if our opponent had played Stoneforge Mystic on their turn 2, there's no way we would have been able to win that game. Just been absurd if they would have had Stoneforge Mystic on 2. Look at that, we have 11 deck submissions. All right, I'm excited to pour through and see what has been submitted after I'm done today. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone else is having a great Thursday. Hanging out, playing some Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I definitely think we ran a little bit cold in the Burn matchup for sure. Like, if we would have hit that Abrupt Decay in the 3rd game or the Path, we probably would have won. What exactly just happened there? So my opponent conceded because we were going to continue casting a bunch of spells with Jeskai Ascendancy in play, which continues to let our creatures make more mana and make them larger, and eventually our creatures will be large enough to just attack for lethal. Yeah, I'm just not playing Legacy. Maybe after the Pro Tour, JMP. If the Pro Tour opens my eyes and tells me that there are a bunch of really sweet decks that look great that are not a bunch of Brainstorm and Force of Will decks, then maybe we'll try, but I am just very, very uninterested and discouraged. Nope. If the queue gets to a point where it's too big again, we'll just freeze it for a little while again. You are welcome to change that to a modern deck, JMP. Anyone that has a legacy deck submitted in the queue is welcome to swap it to a modern deck. Otherwise, they can let them sit there until we get back around to it. But I'm not making any promises on when I'm getting back around to it at this point. There's still a few legacy decks in there. A bunch of people have changed theirs. I think there's like 10 left in there at this point. 10 or so. Another Caryatid. Looking for a Jeskai Ascendancy, just like that. Alright, well, top. Cheerio, mate. It is not a mirror match because our opponent has Basic Forest. When is the PT? The weekend of Gen Con. Are we willing to play some Vintage again? Yeah, we're gonna take a crack at Vintage again very soon. There's a Vintage deck at the bottom of the queue that's coming up very, very quickly. I think it's getting close to 100 points, so we'll probably throw that in over the weekend. I'm planning to do some weekend streams, so we'll probably do that then. I don't think they'd ever ban either of those cards, the Hat Case. I don't want to charge people more for decks, chat. Believe it or not, I've thought a lot about this. I do this as my job, so I think the system that I currently have in place makes me the most money. Yeah, I need to get back into a groove of doing an evening stream at least once a week, JMP. I don't know that I'm going to do the same evening day every week, but I would like to do at least one evening stream per week. That's true. Ponder could realistically happen. I'd buy that for $1. Good chance they're dead here. We're not choked on mana, and this Scarscale Ritual means we shouldn't be choked on cards. Yep, there are a lot of other people that charge a lot more for decks. And also, the way my system is set up, where everything I do is so transparent, a lot of people donate the minimal amount for a deck to get into the queue. And then there are other people who want to send me money or just look for sweet deck ideas. And they send me money to upvote other people's decks in the queue. So basically, by charging less, I get to make more money because other people vote up things that they didn't submit. It's a great system, really. Other people pick out the sweet decks that we get to play. I get to play Magic as a job. It's great. We're actually getting kind of low here, huh? I kind of need another Jeskai Ascendancy at this point. Like I said, I would be very, very surprised if they banned Brainstorm. In fact, Aaron Forsythe has a direct quote in a tweet citing Brainstorm as a, I forget the word he used, but basically he cited it as an untouchable in the format. As Sacred Cow. Yeah, Sacred Cow was the vernacular he used, I believe. That sounds right. Sacred Cow sounds familiar. Don't mind me, just clicking along, click, 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 clicking along. Don't mind me, I'll just be here killing you dead. Killing you, killing you, killing you dead. So one of the things you have to get used to if you're going to play this deck can feel bad mid-combo, because like this game, it feels like we're kind of bricking, right? But the reality of the situation is our deck we're just drawing a lot of cards, so you're going to draw a lot of lands and non-creature spells when you're drawing most of your deck. So while there's a bit of a feel bad moment here, we definitely aren't getting that unfortunate. And the second Ascendancy pretty much guarantees lethal at this point, because they're at 20, so like I only have to get these two to 20 at this point, and every spell I cast at this point adds 4 power to the table. So yeah, they're actually deterministically dead at this point. Can you cite a source on that? Silent Tone, you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I'll be generous, to cite a source. Show me the work, or I'm gonna give you a ban. We don't allow people to make unsubstantiated claims that are extreme on this channel. So, show me your work, or you're not allowed to talk in my channel anymore. This isn't the rest of the internet where you just get to spew and lie all you want. If that is true, that's very interesting, but I need to see the homework. Yep, I can in fact swing for lethal. This is how you win. Look at that! My opponent's played a whole 60 seconds of this match now. Isn't that exciting? Do you think they had fun, chat? Do you think it was good for them? It's good for me. I enjoyed myself. Do you have any blockers, opponent? Oh yeah, they most certainly F6'd and walked away. If they untapped the Devoted Druid, I would be able to Cerulean Wisps and then untap my Fatestitcher and then tap it again. Alright, so this is a matchup where we want our permanent-based disruption here. Silence out. I think Explosives is kind of mediocre here, too. Alright, that sounds like 3 minutes. And you're gone. That is my least favorite thing about the internet. As someone who's been on the personal receiving end of people perpetuating things that are blatantly untrue, don't spread things that are easily verifiable, or that are not easily verifiable, you know? Alright, so I think I want these. I don't think I want the Engineered Explosives because they're kind of slow and clunky. And again, I think our deck is the better linear deck, although it's probably pretty close. Devoted Druid's probably pretty linear. This is tough. I think this deck is great. I think this deck is very powerful and consistent. I think I'm gonna mulligan this because not only does it not have interaction for them, but the fact that we don't have really good cantrips on our own self and this. And the Gemstone Mine just like die, so Everybody can check close 7 into unkeepable 4 off their bingo cards. God bless. Yeah, but the internet, silly boos, allows those people who are loudest to spread that misinformation very wide. It allows people who have low standards and don't care about the lies that they're spreading to cast a very wide net with them. I dislike Blood Moon because I don't think it's well positioned in the current format. I think it's okay against a couple of the mid-range decks that exist, and then pretty mediocre outside of that small subset of decks. The last one was a turn 3 kill, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and cast Cerulean Wisps here because it's free. I'd like to find an Abrupt Decay or a path to kill this, ideally. Yep, that's exactly correct. A lot of people having someone or something to hate makes people feel connected. People connect through hate, as silly as that sounds. They just want to be a part of something, and being a part of a bunch of people being hateful towards a person or thing joins them together. With their powers combined. Sounds good, Iron. And I'll comb through all the deck submissions this evening, as always. Still got plenty of Magic to play today. This is our 3rd match with this deck, and I've got a minimum of 2 more leagues after this one planned. We're going to play some classic Blue-Red Storm, that good combo deck. And then we're going to play, what else do we have? Well, that tells me they've got Stone Nothing, so that's nice, because they have infinite mana but no payoff. We unfortunately mulliganed to Forest. We don't really have anything going on either. If you get a bingo, do you win something? Just the joy of interacting with bingo on the stream. We don't have anybody sitting and validating the bingos that happen, so it's impossible to know, like, who, if people are lying or not. Yeah, I'm holding a land because I have plenty of mana in play, and I want cards to loot away if I had Ascendancy, is exactly correct. I guess I'll play this and pass the turn here. It feels really bad because, like, now we're out of spells, which means even if I draw our namesake Jeskai Ascendancy, I actually can't start comboing because I need a spell with the Ascendancy to get going. That is a payoff for infinite mana. So I'll go ahead and pack it up and pack it in. That's fine. We mulliganed to 4 and then drew a bunch of lands, so let's have a good 7 on the play here. One of the reasons why I really like this deck is because it's pretty consistent at what it does. It has so many cantrips in it that, like, your range of keepable hands is really wide. This hand actually has everything we need in it. It has a mana creature. It has a Glittering Wish, which is a slow Jeskai Ascendancy. We hit another land. Gosh, that's absurd. Drawing the land auto naturally is great. Explosives is very slow. This is a matchup where we want to kill one specific thing. So I think Explosives is worse than both Path to Exile and Abrupt Decay in that sense. And again, you don't want too much removal. People's biggest mistake when playing decks like this is over-interacting. We are a linear combo deck. Kill them. Oh, you know what? I messed up here. I probably should have gone Birds of Paradise plus Glittering Wish this turn. Yeah, I probably should have gone Birds of Paradise, Glittering Wish this turn. I need a land to go off next turn, which makes this less good. Yeah, I can't go off yet because I don't have a land. Yeah, fetching differently is whatever. I would have had to fetch differently because if I would have gone Bird Glittering Wish last turn, I'd have Jeskai Ascendancy in my hand right now, and I'd have Bird, Land, Jeskai Ascendancy, so I'd be able to go Ascendancy cast Serum Visions this turn, but instead, I have to pass back to them, which while I'm not in danger of them killing us, I am giving them more a chance to find things like Quasily Pride Mage and other cards like that. No, I think I'd rather just get Ascendancy and pass here. Just like hold up this Path to Exile in case any shenanigans happen. Giving my opponent more opportunities to interact with us than I needed to because my sequencing was suboptimal here. But that's good. The fact that I had suboptimal sequencing is a good way to kind of illustrate like different lines of play. We have one basic land in our deck, one basic island. So if my opponent wanted to trade 2 of their lands for 1 of our lands, that would be an option for them currently. Is this 10 out of 10 in Eidolon? Maybe I should have just cast this last turn. I don't know. I was afraid of Rex Sage. Yeah, I'm like, this is my fault. My missequencing, they shouldn't have even had this turn. Yep. Yeah, a couple other people linked that littles. It's just someone that wants to make themselves feel smart by crapping on Aaron, making Aaron look like a hypocrite or something like that. Deal. All right, so they should be dead here. Obviously, we're gonna need to like hit a Glittering Wish to get a Wear Tear in the middle, but they should be dead here. So we'll unstep path this. Bye-bye, Eidolon. Again, there are no guarantees. Look, if you have Worship in your deck, you're probably supposed to bring it into matchups like this. I don't know. People who watch the stream, you know I'm not a big fan of Worship. I think the card's pretty bad. But, you know, if you're playing it, you're definitely have it in your deck to board it in matchups like this, right? All right. Mana is not going to be our problem. Our problem is going to be if we stumble on spells. So, here's hoping we don't stumble on spells. That's kind of a good setup to stumble on spells, except we do get to bottom 2 of those. All right, so let's cast the Sleight of Hand, Serum Visions now. More Ascendancies. Deal. I don't think I want a third one. I don't have that many extra cards. Yeah, we technically get 1 more trigger on my turn, but like I have so many creatures at this point that like the triggers don't really matter. I have a copy of Wear Tear in my sideboard, and because I have Glittering Wish, my sideboard is in my main deck, which is another reason why I love this deck, because even if you miss sideboard a little bit, and your opponent ends up having something you weren't prepared for that with your sideboard, you're like, I have Glittering Wish, I'm going to kill you anyways. Neener, neener. I like boarding out, Manamorphose. Wishing for Manamorphose is almost never good. Usually the first copy of, what's it called, is good enough. And they're actually already just dead here, right? Let's get the Wear Tear and attack for a bunch. Pew, 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 pew. All right, after a close loss to burn in the first one, 2-1. Slow and steady. Again, if you're new and you've never seen this deck before, I have a full primer on it on gatheringmagic.com from last month or the month before. It includes a couple of budget iterations if you don't want to invest in things like Noble Hierarch and Engineered Explosives right away. I have a ton of videos of this deck on my YouTube channel. I've probably played a couple dozen leagues or more at this point. What's the most underplayed deck in Modern? This one. This deck is great. It's linear. It's interactive when it needs to be. Super powerful. What does this hand do? This is kind of close. It doesn't have any... Excuse me. It doesn't have Mana Dork or Ascendancy in it. I'm going to keep this. I think there's enough discard decks in the format right now that I should keep hands like this in the dark. I need the bingo mulligan it. Damn it, chat. Bogle. This matchup's okay for us. The fact that our hand isn't super fast necessarily is bad. Again, just like we're two linear decks in our linear deck. It's one of the faster linear decks in the format on average, though this hand specifically is not particularly good. Why am I electing to sleeve up Blue-Red Wizard Fairies for Indy? Because I like that deck. I like the style of Magic that it plays. And I play Magic for fun. It's this weird kick I'm on. Playing Magic for fun. We're probably dead here at this point. I need to hit like Birds of Paradise or Noble with this draw and then find an Ascendancy next turn. I work with an advertising company. It's almost like television. This deck's fine. It's just like, I played this deck at a 7-round team event, and after 7 matches, I was spent. It's just, the amount of stuff you have to go through and keep track of, it's brutal. I would not want to play this deck for a 9-round day 1 and then like possibly top 8 day 2. Like, I probably wouldn't top 8 day 2 because of how brutal a number of things you have to keep track of. Alright, so the Silence is an easy cut. Abrupt Decay is great. You can just trim and opt and hit submit. I don't think I want Path to Exile in this matchup. Our better hands can just race core Spirit Dancer. Moto feels like we're getting some Moto molasses here. People playing bingo at home, we're at 1.8 gigabytes of RAM, so probably Probably kick it after this match, maybe. I would love to play first. Seeing there's a lot of potential. Breeding Pool Bird, let's go. I ever played Pauper on stream. Pauper is not popular enough. Tried it on stream several times in the past. If you're looking for Pauper content, you can find it on my YouTube channel. 100% of my streams get archived there. It just doesn't get the views. Both live and the archives are both just have very low numbers. What kind of PC am I playing on? One that has plenty of system resources. Moto is a laggy, memory hemorrhaging piece of garbage. It's the best tool we have for playing Magic, but let's not sugarcoat it. Yeah, I just really, the problem, the reason I'm down on Legacy Pimped Up Monk is because the decks that are sweet, the decks that are neat, are terrible, and you're generally just signing up to lose a bunch of matches. My computer with 32 gigs of RAM is not the issue. My computer's only using 11 of its 32 gigs of RAM, but not even touching her swap space. There goes my preview card. I don't understand why they don't give me things, chat. Does anybody know? I don't get it. Maybe I should have gone land Nagging Thoughts there. Yeah, I probably should have gone land Nagging Thoughts. Thanks for the content. I've been loving the Blue-Red Fairies deck. Awesome, Gokai. Thank you for the 3-month free subscription. Welcome back. I get that you were trying to be funny with that comment, Cooldown Max, but trying to be funny in that way is to come at the expense of people, so let's not do that. You'll be back in 10 minutes. Hey, look, Jeskai Ascendancy. Emmercool. Thanks for the bits, I appreciate it. No, I think jumping there is pretty bad. It's much better. I'm much more likely to go off successfully if I have more creatures. Yeah, assuming they don't have a disenchant or something to kill this Jeskai Ascendancy, we should be likely to win here. It's possible they have something like a Celestial Purge or Disenchant here. Path to Exile. Deal. Oh, gosh. Double Path's actually a little bit brutal. Huh. Double Path could actually cause us some problems. I think I've been a Sleight of Hand here because the Manamorphose nets us a mana here. because I'm kind of choked on mana at the moment. And I'm actually going to choose not to loot here because I know there's a Serum Visions on top of my deck from the Noxious Revival, and I know I want to cast that plus this Nagging Thoughts. So now I need a Fatestitcher. Our silly opponent trying to interact with us. Why'd you have to do that? We're just supposed to be racing each other. And like, the first path would have been... The first path was whatever. The first path wasn't a big deal. Put this towards Grixis Dragons. Thank you, Fallen Dark. Happy to. Thank you for the support. As always, any amount of bits you cheer in increments of 100 or more, or dollars you donate, can be used to bump decks in the queue. Okay, that bodes well for us. That bodes well for us. If we find a Fatestitcher, we should be in the clear. I'm gonna bottom this. Manamorphose is good here, right? Because I have 2 mana floating still. So Manamorphose takes 2 mana in and outputs 3 mana, so it nets us a mana overall. I'm actually going to take the Opt rather than the Cerulean Wisps because I think netting the mana for Manamorphose should be enough to get us through to where we need to go, hopefully. Though it's possible I should take the Wisps. So the Wisps is worse selection, but it nets us a mana. So I could go either way on that. I'm going to make blue-white here in case we draw Glittering Wish. Well, I mean, that makes their Bogle worse. That's a Glittering Wish. So we go bottom here. I think I cast this Opt. Although I guess I can Glittering Wish into Scarscale Ritual, huh? Alright, I haven't done that yet. I've not Glittering Wished into Scarscale Ritual yet. And we're definitely just going for the lethals here at this point. Ride Machete with the $1 donation. I asked for a complimentary timeout and got it in 5 seconds. Have $1. Thank you for the support. Cooldown Max with the $5 donation. Hi, Jeff in chat. Sorry to ruffle feathers. Comment was not about being self-identifying or trying to poke fun at the expense of others. I call my car a girl because it's how I think about my car. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Like I said, there was a reason it was just a temporary timeout, not anything permanent. Yeah, Detection Tower is too narrow. Yeah, Modern is a format where you can't afford to board cards that only do work in one matchup. There's a Fatestitcher, chat. All right, Fatestitcher should mean we're in the clear now. Hopefully. Hopefully, here's open. Guess there's a world where we brick, maybe. Yeah, that's called human growth. That's called being a reasonable adult. The unreasonable response to when someone tells you, hey, that might ruffle feathers, is to like throw a hissy fit. So I can get this Ascendancy into play. Right? So I can, if I draw this, I can make 2 mana, cast Engineered Explosives, then make 2 mana, cast this, and then that makes this Glittering Wish lethal, right? So yeah, so this is lethal, so I should keep this because it's lethal. What's the best way, if I may, to send you a deck list and ask for your opinion and advice on it? If you're not interested in seeing me play it on stream, the best way is to either private message me or post it in the subs Discord. If you're interested in having me play it on stream and getting feedback that way, you'll want to use the deck submission form linked under the stream. But if you just want me to take a peek at something, feel free to just drop me a private message, either on Twitch or Twitter or Discord. It is not frowned upon. In fact, it is legal and within the rules. In fact, in a deck like this, you can actually use the fact that you can look at your sideboard mid-match to bluff your opponent. There's definitely value in checking your sideboard when you don't have a Glittering Wish to make your opponent think you have a Glittering Wish. So now we have plenty of mana. Oh, I want to make red here. And then when we cast Flesh Blood out of the sideboard here, it'll be lethal. There's no reason to loot, right? Let's just get my lethal card. Because they're at 14. And like if I needed to deal more damage than this, I could, but I don't need to. Because I enjoy watching you play Giftstorm, which is probably the single only deck in Modern I know more about than you. Thanks for the bits, Janice. This deck has ups and downs in both formats. There's definitely things about playing it online that are better than paper, and vice versa, for sure. Some configurations of Storm board Pyromancer's Ascendancy. And there was a Jeskai deck for a little while that was playing Thing in the Ice that played it as well, but I don't know if that's particularly popular anymore. Correct, you cannot combo without a mana creature in play. This hand is so incredibly close. I think it's actually a mulligan because our land is Gemstone Mine. Mull for bingo. Alright, I'm gonna keep on the draw. We get, we get 4 looks at a land. They boarded in Leyline of Sanctity. God bless your little Bogle heart. God bless your little Bogle heart. How will we ever win now? Ding. They probably boarded it out for game 2. I'd assume. Maybe that's a bad assumption. Yeah, I think I want both of these, right? Just go top, top. Opt into this. Oh, I'm dumb. I was thinking I hadn't played a land yet. There was no reason to opt into that. There was no reason to opt into that. I just kind of took a counter off my Gemstone Mine for no reason. Non-zero chance for dead here. Yeah, like if the Gemstone Mine had +1 counter, I'd be in a much better spot. So I get to take Spider Umbra and Daybreak Coronet off of my opponent's thing here and kill their Glade Cover Scout, but like Core Spirit Dancer still presents a problem. Maybe I am supposed to board in my Path to Exiles in this matchup. I could see that being correct. So remember, Daybreak Coronet says enchant enchanted permanent. So when the other enchantment, the Spider Umbra, falls off the Core Spirit Dancer, the Daybreak Coronet falls off as well. And because their follow-up was another Daybreak Coronet here, this one also goes to the discard pile. I mean, it's possible that my opponent doesn't have any more enchantments in their hand, and they're just, like, playing the only one they could play. And I would be in a much better spot on my side if I would have played better and not cast the opt, putting my Gemstone Mine to 1 counter. So, like, I'd still have a Gemstone Mine on 1 counter here. If I'd have played slightly better. There's a good chance we're dead regardless here. I think it doesn't matter. Revival on my land doesn't accomplish anything, because in addition to needing lands, I need other spells. Yeah, we're just dead. We're just dead. I don't know if I keep the Gemstone Mine, if that game is different, but I think it was definitely incorrect to sequence. I think it's also possible I shouldn't have kept that opening hand. We've played Vintage in the past. You can find Vintage on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. Search for Vintage. You have a Vintage deck in the queue that we'll probably play at some point. Family's great. Kids are great. Summer's been good. Getting to play outside a bunch. Both the kids are really enjoying school. Speaking of great, this hand is great. Turn 1 bird, turn 2 thing. Hopefully their Valak could tighten and not burn. I really don't feel like playing against burn again with this deck. You're very, very low percentage to win with burn. Winning against burn with this deck. This is the same list I've been playing for a while. I think the one change between this list and the build I have in my last article is I'm on 3 Wisps and 3 Manamorphose instead of 4 Manamorphose and 2 Wisps. And I think I like that change. Having a more 1-mana spells mid-combo is pretty valuable. It means you brick off less. A lot of the time when you brick off mid-combo, it's because you drew too many 2-mana cards. Yeah, I don't know. If you want more feedback on this deck, I like this build a lot. These are the 75 cards that I like playing pretty much. These are the 75 cards that I like playing pretty much. You can be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland, as well as my articles on gatheringmagic.com for more content with this one.